We are live. It is Saturday. It is Saturday.
July 25th.
July 25th, 2020, 5 o'clock p.m. We are live on time today. There has just been a wonderful shower at the cabin in the woods, and I thought I was going to have to do this inside, but just it was like Trump's inauguration. Just as 5 o'clock was breaking, the clouds parted, the sun shone through. Only the difference between this time and Trump's inauguration is that it actually is true this time. The clouds parted. You can see in the background. There's actually it doesn't show quite how there it is. There's a little bit of blue over there. It
I
is
see it.
not raining on me. And as Michael Fromberger puts out in the comments, there are more people watching in lieu of fun than there were at Donald Trump's inauguration. I've got some red wine of indeterminate origin. Kate has a sour of some kind.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's from this local brewing company, Provincetown Brewing Company. I've been trying to do this because they do 15% of their sales to like the national conservation for like the dunes around Provincetown.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The hole in my deck has grown larger,
Yeah, it's a
but
lot
I
bigger.
have not fallen through it today. Um, and we are guestless because it's Saturday. So, Kate, what's on your mind?
Tiki
Oh,
bars.
we're not allowed to have fun
Oh yeah.
anymore. And in lieu of fun, we don't even have a guest. Yes, Joyce Fisher, the deck replacement project is deferred maintenance, deferred quite literally since we got the cabin in the woods. It has been a giant deferral kind of project, but one of our guests fell through the deck while doing yoga, while Yasha Monk was staying at the house. His one of his guests was put her foot on the wrong board, and it went straight through. And I figured that was a sign it was time for the cabin in the woods to get a new deck. I fell through yesterday while tearing up some floorboards. And so I think if God is ever, yes, John Bordeaux, impact yoga, extreme yoga, I think she was giving off so much energy that she literally burned through the deck board. And so I think if God has a way of signing to you that it is time to replace your deck, rotting the wood to the point that two people quite literally fall through it, um, seems like it's about as close as God's going to give me here. So we now have removed, I sent Kate pictures of it before, quite a bit of decking, much more decking to be removed. And after we're done with In Lieu of Fun today, I'm going to do the magic first laying of floorboards. And so that is my Saturday. Kate, what's on your mind?
Tiki bars.
Tiki bars. Yes, John Bordeaux, I am using Trex. I love Trex. I have used it in other places, and it has these magic, it's really easy to install, and in addition, it is 95% made from recycled material, which I think is kind of super cool. Why tiki bars?
So Cory Doctorow, who was on the show, I think the first mystery guest Sunday that we did, back when it used to be you invite someone and then they invite someone, and then it was like too much. It was like a little bit too
Too
much
many
crazy.
people on the show at the
Too
same
many
time.
people. He was sitting in like like on its way to being constructed tiki bar that he was building in his backyard in Burbank, California. And so yesterday I was like, just kind of like about like to go to bed, and I was like, wonder what whatever happened to Corey's Tiki Bar? And so I sent him these messages, and it is so cool. Do you want to see this thing?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of I'm a little in awe. So let's see. Uh, um, so this is the Tiki Bar.
Whoa.
Yeah, right? And so he has built this all himself and like put all these masks together and everything. And it is just like, I think, kind of insane and remarkable. And then because I am a
And remind me, where is he? He's in California, right?
He's in Burbank, California.
Yeah.
So, and because I am, hold on, I will, a weird person who hangs out on Craigslist free to see what kind of weird stuff is available on Craigslist free, because you never know
You never know.
You never know. So, I literally went on Craigslist free today, right before the show, probably 15 minutes before the show, and look what someone was giving away just near me.
Whoa.
In Sandwich, Massachusetts, which is on the Cape. And I just thought it was hilarious.
Did you acquire it?
No, I just found out about it. But
Are you going to acquire it?
This is what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted your advice.
Whoa.
Do you think that I should?
All right, I think we're going to have a discussion about it, and then we're going to use the poll function to pull. Now, notice that I did
don't know
not
how I'm
do
gonna
this.
get this to my house, by the way.
Well, that can be part of the discussion. I just want to point out that when the subject of input into whether you should have children came up, I resisted the temptation to use a poll. And nor did I
polls are for.
Nor did I offer my own opinion on this subject.
I appreciate that.
But when it comes to, while I would refrain in the case of acquiring babies, when it comes to acquiring tiki bars, I am all about using the poll function on our Crowdcast platform. So, what are, in your mind, the pros and cons of the acquisition of the tiki bar?
Well, the first problem is this is not actually my house. So, like, I really don't have, like,
you will be dismayed to know, by the way, Kate, that somebody just fell into the gap in the deck, and it was Gergie.
No. Wait, was it Tammy?
No, it was Gergie, my large one-eyed dog. Yeah,
he didn't fall through, though. He's okay.
Well, his legs did.
Oh, my God.
So Tammy just scooped him out and helped him down the stairs.
Oh, poor Gergie. Nina's, like, just was let out onto the deck and is sniffing around. She thinks she smells the turkeys under the deck. Anyway, the thing is that it's not my house. So I don't, like, actually... If I dragged this piece of... my parents would probably call... firewood back to our house. Like, they are probably going to be quite annoyed. There is a chance, because they have known me for 36 years now, that they will be a little amused. And my dad will probably think it's kind of cool, but then they'll make me take it down. So,
but what if you had it there for the entire time that you are Kate Klonick in exile in the Cape, and then on November 5th, Guy Fawkes night, bonfire night, which also happens to be my birthday, but that's a different matter, you did the traditional thing, which is to have a bonfire, and you honored your parents' conception of it as firewood, so you would have the tiki bar until such time as it was, uh, yeah, you have a little black powder assist with that, or you could just, one match will do an amazing thing, and you could invite all your neighbors over for a socially distant Guy Fawkes night bonfire, presumably without the anti-Catholic bigotry that traditionally, although not in a contemporary sense, uh, accompanies Guy Fawkes night.
I don't know that there are any Catholics in Cape Cod.
Oh, I'm sure there are, and I'm sure that the older they are, the more likely they are to understand bonfire night as not necessarily their thing.
But to John Bordeaux's point, it actually would be kind of lovely because, and really fun because we have a fair number of neighbors that we're close to, and we've been like drinking out on like a deck from socially distant areas or like in a lawn, and it wouldn't be drinking alone at all. It'd be like a really cool kind of fun. Like,
Also, Guy Fawkes is kind of in now because of Anonymous and the movie V for Vendetta, and so I think if you could create a dummy with an anonymous mask and burn it using the wood from the tiki bar, and then that would be a good combination. Oh, Gurgi just came back on the deck and this time stepped carefully over the gap, proving that dogs can learn. Come here, Gurgi.
Hi, Gurgi.
Come get congratulated. Maybe you can even get your face into the frame. There he is. Whoops. He's refusing to cooperate.
He's being very shy. I love this. This is a great idea because you're right. That would be like a really fun, and that would be right before the election. There'd be a lot of catharsis.
No, it would be after the election.
Wait, when's the election?
The election's November 3rd, but we might not have a result by November 5th.
Right. That's true. I was remembering in 2016 it was November 7th, right? Yes.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh man, that's true. We really might not have a result. That's going to be bonkers. Yeah. So anyways,
hang on, I'm setting up the poll now.
Okay, great. I want to hear what people think. I don't know, it just kind of seems like I'm also like just kind of sitting around waiting for my tomatoes to ripen. And so like I can't do much with my gardening anymore. It's all gardened. There are no weeds. Things are pruned and like trained and everything is perfect. And so I feel like, I don't know, it would be a fun new project.
Okay, so here's the question.
John Bordeaux is very practical. Yeah.
So
John,
I have three options.
To the tiki bar for lighting. You could also
have
do it with LEDs.
Three options on the question. Kate should A, get the tiki bar and burn it on Guy Fawkes night. B, get the tiki bar and leave it for her parents to figure out what to do with. And C, heck with the tiki bar. Is there other options that we should add to that?
No, not really. I think that, like, I was going to say, like, stop checking Craigslist free all
right,
time.
let's add that.
I won't consent if that's the result. I will refuse to abide by it. It's
all right, here we go.
Well, we'll see.
All right, everybody who's on the Crowdcast should now have access to this. And should be in. Have you? Do people see the poll?
I don't see it.
Oh, I see.
Oh, now it did. It just showed up.
Yeah.
I really like that David B remembers the goat. Because we never would have had the goat.
Whatever happened to the goat?
I just found that text message that I sent to that guy the other day that was like, "Where is it a house trained goat?" And he was like, "No, it's not a house trained goat."
It's interesting that there's not a lot of enthusiasm for your not even acquiring the tiki bar.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. Just, everyone here wants to watch some crazy tiki bar story.
We got, because
play
like
out.
we're still going to be in lockdown then, and we totally want a Guy Fawkes night tiki bar uh, uh, with an effigy going up in flames on In Lieu of Fun.
I want. I think that I am starting to see my father-in-laws and my mother-in-law are on this are in the audience. I bet they're voting for my bet. I bet they're. I'm gonna bet how they're voting. I bet the one vote for stop checking Craigslist free is from my mother-in-law.
No, it's from Rob Hilton, who has outed
really?
himself. He said, I voted D, and I'm so far the only one. I would just like to point out that the secret ballot, which is, the Australian ballot, which is a cool innovation in democracy, doesn't necessarily apply on In Lieu of Fun. We do reserve the right to out your votes if we find out about them. So,
Oh man.
all right.
I
So I think we have a pretty strong majority for getting the tiki bar and burning
Okay,
it
can we have
on
another
Guy
poll
Fawkes
about
night.
how to get the tiki bar? Because I have no idea how that's gonna happen. Like, pretty sure I can't fit it in my car. That it's not my car.
Maybe we should
Um,
have the all polling edition of In Lieu of Fun, where we
oh
just
yeah, where I
set
just
up
like
crazy polls about what we should do with our lives. Because
yeah,
I'm
that's
like
actually
struggling with what my next book should be about, and
oh that would be
maybe I
fun.
should.
Let's do that. We should just like throw it. It's like Mad Libs. We can just like throw it to the
Well,
crowd
I
and they
think
can
it would
pick the
be like a
direction.
matter of subject. Like I have some ideas that I'm kicking around, and uh, I don't think I would be like, let's let the audience decide. But I would be interested in what people are most interested in among the ideas that I'm thinking about. Um, yeah, there's a lot of sense that you should just, acquire a truck for an afternoon.
Someone who knows that John used to have a truck was like, "Doesn't John have a truck?" That's a good story. Let me tell you why John doesn't have a truck anymore. Which is that I was driving it uh, down down Houston Street at 8:30 a.m. before Hurricane Sandy, trying to make a trip back to DC to pick up the last of my stuff from law school, and I was driving it through Manhattan at 8:30 in the morning, and I went to hit the brakes, and they just went clear to the floor. And it just like
Whoa.
the brakes were just done, and I plowed into the car in front of me at Broadway in Houston, and that was the end of the truck. I
There's
was
Gurgi.
okay. Hi, Gurgi. He loves you.
He
Um,
just doesn't want to be on camera.
um, yeah. So that's why no more truck. Um,
Well, I think uh,
well, I will.
the
I'm gonna send an email about the tiki bar.
the audience of In Lieu of Fun, you having failed to acquire the goat, is going to put its foot down about the tiki bar, and um, and and I think we should plan on a November 5th bonfire at Cape Cod on bonfire night, where the tiki bar goes up in flames
Yeah, that sounds great.
with a Guy Fawkes mask, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to make sure I can get a good internet connection wherever I have the bonfire. But yeah, we could do that. That could be fun. I
You
mean, do I have
know,
to like? Does it have to like? I don't have to like do the like the tiki bar doesn't have to be like standing up and looking like a tiki bar when I light it on
no, I
fire.
think I think when you light the fire, it has to be a the tiki bar can be a scrap pile of wood.
Okay, good. Then that's fine.
The
I just
point is
think
to
that it's a
get
little
rid of it.
dangerous to like
Get
have the tiki bar like 7 feet tall and then light it on fire.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
think the point is to have the tiki bar disposed of so that you deal with the problem of having brought it into your parents' house against their will.
yeah, I think that's right. um,
Well, we
ooh.
have burned 20 minutes of the show on on this completely absurd subject.
But wait,
Yeah, I
now
think
we
we
can have
should.
a very serious conversation about
Wait
your
a minute.
book.
Claudia Elkin just described this as in lieu of Burning Man, which I think is pretty awesome.
Did they
So
cancel Burning Man? I hope so.
they did. So this would be in lieu of Burning Man, we set fire to Kate's tiki bar.
I have, this is a good sign. It's a Providence area code. So, the person who has the tiki bar. So, whoever it is, I will find out. I'm messaging now. We'll keep you updated.
All right.
Um,
So what's our next
so
subject, Kate?
I want to know about your book.
Oh, so
I
I've,
want to talk about your book topics.
so I've been thinking of a couple of book topics. Um, so one is that I want to write a book, not a biography of, but a book about the 18 months of the Attorney Generalship of William Levy. Uh, Sorry, not William Levy, Ed Levy. William Levy is his grandson, who is now Bill Barr's chief of staff. Different person. Ed Levy was the president of the University of Chicago and was named to be Attorney General by Gerald Ford um, after the Nixon administration ended. And he presided over the Justice Department for a very short period of time. It's 18 months. And during that time, almost everything that we associate with the modern norms of apolitical justice are either created or the thinking behind them is started. And I'm interested in writing a little book that would just be about this I mean, he's a big deal if you're either an aficionado of the Justice Department or if you've ever spent time at the University of Chicago. But he's otherwise relatively unknown, and there's probably nobody in the country's history who had a bigger impact on the history of the Justice Department in turning in the direction that it turned until now. And so I think if you're interested, as I am, in the in the question of how do you rebuild that institution, uh, Ed Levy and his tenure, not his larger career, because I mean he's also a very important figure in creating the modern University of Chicago. He wrote a very important legal textbook. Uh, he was the sort of dean of the University of Chicago Law School for a long time. None of that is of particular interest to me, but this very brief period of time during which he basically shaped everything that we think about, the work that became the FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, started under Ed Levy. It wasn't finished until the Carter administration, but the idea for it, the basic structure of it, is a product of Ed Levy's Justice Department. What we now call the Attorney General's Guidelines for Law Enforcement Investigations, which used to be, until relatively recently, were always called the Levy Guidelines, were promulgated by Ed Levy. And so when you think about like the modern FBI, this idea that it shouldn't be the Hoover FBI, this is really the creation of and the handiwork of Ed Levy. And I just think it's a really interesting time when we're thinking about, okay, well, what do you do when you get rid of Bill Barr? What do you do when Donald Trump is out of office? How do you rebuild this institution? To think about the last time we had to rebuild this institution. So that's project number one. The other thing about Ed Levy is he gave incredible speeches at the time he was doing this. They are very scholarly, they're very thoughtful, and they're really candid about what he's trying to do. And so that's project number one. Project number two is a radically different project, which is a very short book um, trying to
Wait, I
identify.
thought you said that you wanted to make the Ed Levy book short, book, a
Yeah,
short-ish book.
I want, but this would be even shorter.
Okay.
Um, um, Trying to identify the fundamental governance challenge of our time,
Ooh.
and I I think I have my finger on what it is, and and I don't think anybody has articulated it the way I think it should be articulated.
Do we have to wait for the book to come out to find out what you
No,
think
no,
it
I'm
is?
happy to describe what it is, um, which is to respond to a revanchist Russia and a resurgent and a forthcoming China in the context of number one, uh, an impending climate catastrophe. Number two, a um, democratic retrenchment around the world. Number three, U.S. overextension in its existing international commitments and unwillingness, a real gap between our our understanding of our commitments and our willingness to, in fact, commit to them. Number four, domestic, gross domestic income inequality and genuine political polarization, all in the context of number five, severe budgetary constraint. All of the above things, under normal circumstances, you could say those are problems you can spend your way out of. And in the context of 20 plus trillion dollars of debt and a multi-trillion dollar annual deficit, it is a non-obvious proposition that you can spend your way out of any of them, let alone all of them put together. And so the question is, if you're serious about governance, it seems to me you have to ask all of those questions simultaneously. You have to prioritize. Did I just lose you, Kate? Okay, because oh, sorry, my sound went out for a second.
Oh.
You have to prioritize them, and you have to think about strategies for dealing with them concurrently. And you also have to decide what issues you are not interested in fighting about in order to focus on those grand governance challenges. And so the idea would be a long essay, short book, A, presenting that as the fundamental governance challenge, B, articulating a strategy for thinking about it. And frankly, to be perfectly honest, the thing that holds me back from just sitting down and writing about it is that I find the challenge so daunting when framed that way that I honestly don't know how to think about what a strategy for it would look like. And C, being frank about the questions that we're willing to put to the side in order to focus on the most important, biggest challenges. And so that would be, and I'm sort of imagine it as a, I don't know, 25 to 30,000 word, very brief, could read in a sitting provocation that's designed to say, hey, if you're not framing the issue this way, you're there are major things that you're missing in the conversation. Um,
Okay, I have mixed. I I have initial reactions to both of those, but I'm gonna reserve them until I hear other. What's the? Is there a third?
nope, those are the two that I'm thinking about most actively.
Okay,
And I may work on them both concurrently because that's sometimes the way I do things.
I'm gonna put a third option out, which is I don't. Well, it's funny because like basically like it's playing out in the comments, but I think that it's either a really long, really thoughtful book that does delve into the second one. Anyways, is a long, kind of very long, thoughtful book that you kind of like show all of your work and gather up a lot of people that like write about this stuff
This would be
constantly.
more in the show none of your work department,
Yes,
right?
and this seems like
Just
more of a, which makes me
just
think that you shouldn't make it a book. You should make it like an essay or a manifesto that can get shared and spread and like kind of just be like a thought, like a more of a thought piece that is like not a book. But
so
that's just my.
so I that's an interesting point. I mean, I don't think I could write it at essay length. Like I actually think the amount of thought in it is
No, it
um
still might be like a long read. Like it still might be like a solid, like feature length read, like a 10,000, 15,000 word piece. But you could still have that be like a manifesto that people read that length online.
yeah, so I resist the term manifesto only because I actually don't have a strong normative sense that, like, you know, and here's the answer, workers need to seize control of the factories, right? And um, I have a sense that that major political movements are asking only part of the question, and that when you actually frame the question broadly, it's super, super hard. And my main point is let's be honest about what the governance challenge is.
Okay, so I think the poll should be Ed as a book, governance as a book, or governance as anything else but a book.
All right, I can do that. Do you have the capability to put the poll out, or do only I get to do
Let
that?
me see if I can do a poll. I don't think I do.
Okay, so I will add a question to the poll. Ben's next book should be colon. Answer number one is Ed Levy.
Book, yes.
Book. Um, Number two is The Challenge as a book. And number three is The Challenge not as a book.
Anything but a book.
Okay. Is there?
I'll tell you when it shows up.
All right,
It's a
here we
poll in a
go.
second. I'm excited. I know I'm voting.
My God, we're having. Seems like overwhelming support for the Ed Levy book so far.
Yeah, I was predicting that based on the. Um, Interesting. Uh, yeah.
I think we should have a poll on every episode.
I know, it's kind of fun, right? It's very
Ooh,
like,
both Pauline and Michael Fromberger say that I should have a both category.
oh yeah, you should
Um,
have a both category. I mean, but okay, it should act. How many
Because I do sometimes
selections?
do projects concurrently, and so
How many?
I
Add a. Well, which concurrently, the book or the anything but a book? Because my vote would be Ed Levy book, and you write the challenge as an essay.
all right. So hang on, wait a minute. Let's delete this poll and do it
And do
again.
another one.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
We're empiricists.
yeah, because this is really scientific. Ben's next book should be colon one.
The Tiki Bar person has responded, and the Tiki Bar is available and can be picked up in a pickup truck.
Excellent. Um, as a book. C. the challenge as something other than a book. D, both A and B. Or E, both A and C. Okay, there we go. Well, it's interesting. Now we're getting a real competition.
Yeah. Hold on, I want to see. I haven't voted yet.
So the answer
I
seems to
win.
be, yeah, kind of the work on the Ed Levy book and the challenge as an essay.
Yeah.
David Mulford asks what Ed Levy believed about burning tiki bars. I do not know the answer to that question, but I will certainly make it up for you. He was very much opposed to it because he actually believed in eating tiki bars.
Sounds very University of Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
Like anti-fun and very practical.
And also, there was a whole selling babies thing at the University of Chicago.
Wait,
Um,
what? How did I not
oh
know about
yeah,
that?
uh,
I'm really glad that my choice E blew everything out of the water. That was my vote. I get a
yeah.
little
Richard
competitive.
Posner at one point proposed that people should be able to pay for adoptions, who should be able to buy babies, and there should be market principles should be able to apply. And so
Sure.
there was a there
What could
was
go wrong?
uh, the U Chicago School of Libertarianism is sometimes jokingly associated with baby markets. Um, okay. Thank you all. This is super helpful. So we have learned that Kate should acquire a tiki bar, and I should focus on the Ed Levy book and the challenge as an essay.
I think I'm much more excited about my outcome than if
No,
someone had told
I
me to
think
write a
it's
book.
I think it's really this is great. We should every day we should have a poll about something, and I think
Could I bring
you
them to
know
like the grocery store with me when I'm staring at like 8 different kinds of like jelly and I'm like, I don't know which one to buy.
how about this, guys? Every time we do in lieu of fun, we should have a poll. The conversation should lead up to a poll at the end that we will organize. Yeah, the poll of the day that we will organize. It'll grow organically out of the conversation, and uh, uh, and I think we will learn nothing of genuine value, but amuse ourselves along the way in the course of that. So I don't know. Tomorrow's mystery guest can be the first one. Just
Whose
something out of
mystery
the.
guest turn is it? Is it my turn?
I don't know. Who did the
Well,
last
we didn't
mystery
have
guest?
mystery guests last week because we did just a Sunday and we had Steve on Saturday.
That's right. So who did mystery guest the week before?
Me.
So I guess it's my turn for a mystery
And it
guest.
was. Who was it? I don't remember. That's terrible.
Okay, so we will have a mystery guest
But
tomorrow,
I
and
could get a mystery guest for tomorrow because I
no,
was
no,
thinking
no,
that I'd have to.
I'll do it. It's
Okay.
um so does anybody have
To Carol H's question, the show needs a producer far
Yeah,
faster
like
than it needs an archivist.
our archivist is also some tech help.
Yes, I was like, there are many problems this
Although
show has.
I have great. I on the tech help side, I have news for you all. Google has noticed in lieu of fun, and reached out to me about it recently, and they are delighted by in lieu of fun, and are interested in helping us because public affairs programming on YouTube is something they think is super cool, and so we
Do they know how
welcome.
often we talk about tiki bars instead of public affairs?
Look, we just talked about Ed Levy. How many
That's,
YouTube videos are there about Ed Levy?
I don't know, but probably there's a few TikTok videos about Levy.
I
That was
want
a
to
joke.
see all TikTok videos about Ed Levy. All right. Uh, should we plan the show for the week?
Yeah. You have frittered away another 41 minutes with, let's see. Well,
My battery, by
Dana.
the way, informs me I have 11 minutes left, which is
Uh-oh.
funny because I thought I was plugged in.
Maybe Gurgi, like, knocked something loose.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the situation is here.
Okay.
While
You,
you get this conversation
I
started
will
about the
try to get
show,
people
I'm going
to
to see if I'm
give us some
plugged
things.
in.
Yeah. Um, okay. So, let's see. Yes. No, to Andrew McMahon's question, will that mean that we can't say anything bad about... No, we're not going to, like, get paid by them. I think they're just going to, like, promote the show. And if they stop promoting the show, then, like, really we'll just be back at the same position that we were in before. So I don't think that we're at any risk here. Are you plugged in? Oh, you can't hear me yet. Anyways, I don't... Yeah, we're not taking any money. That would be nice. It would be nice, but I'm never, not to be nice to get money from Google, but to get money would be nice.
I don't think it's a money thing. I think
No,
it's a
that's what I
technical
was
help
just
thing.
explaining. It's like tech help, and like they would like help us with like, I don't know, with tech help, and basically like promote the show on YouTube's like front page and things like that. So, not kind of like a in Google's pocket thing. Okay, so we have Dana. We had Monday was Josh, and then we had Wednesday was Ross, and then we had Andy Slavitt. That was awesome. And
We had a good week, I just want to say.
Yeah, it was a really good
Like, it was a
week. It
really
was
good week on In Lieu of Fun.
Yeah. Oh, did I show you that? Did I show you the crossword that Ross finished?
No.
Yeah.
You told
Ross
me that there was one.
Oh, I thought I sent you a link. Yeah, he finished the Kate Clonic crossword, which was very sweet. And now I'm making you a crossword, but you won't. And then we're going to have to do it together because you're going to conquer your dislike of crosswords. Also, it's going to be really easy because all of the clues are going to be inside jokes about In Lieu of Fun.
So this is like a special crossword puzzle for viewers of In Lieu of Fun.
Yeah, basically. And
But
I'm making
professionally made.
No, well, not professionally. I'm making it. But this one is, hold on, let me see.
No, this one is professionally made.
Oh, this one is professionally made. Yes, that's true. There we go. Isn't that cute?
That is awesome.
I also feel like he doesn't even know it, but like like how many times I cut my fingers at the beginning of the pandemic, and how many times I went to the emergency room. So yeah, no. But it was kind of cool. So now I'm making one. This is my new hobby. Anyway, Alex Petrie.
Petri.
Sorry. Petri.
Yeah, let me ping Alexandra Petri right now on Twitter because I think she should come on, and I think adequately taunting tweet from me should be enough to do it.
What about getting Nate on personally on soon to talk about all of the things election? There's been a lot of chatter about how things are shaping up. Uh,
Let's definitely do that, especially because his election integrity project has a new content feed that Lawfare is going to be launching in the next few days,
oh yeah,
and
he
it would
told me
be
about that.
it would be a great opportunity to talk about what they're doing and how and to introduce viewers to the uh, uh, to the content that we're going to be releasing from them.
He also just wrote a new book. I don't know how he does all this stuff. He has like two young kids too. Like it's just bonkers. But he like teaches like three classes and like entities. It's just amazing. I don't think he sleeps. Dana Boyd, we were going to talk about getting her on to talk about the census. So she's like, she is one of, I think she was the founder of Data and Society. She does a ton of stuff. Um, she does a ton of, she's like kind of like a very early technologist and tech blogger or tech writer and scholar, an activist. And then she's turned all of her energies to the census and the importance of the census kind of for social justice and getting kind of funds to people, government funds to people accurately and things like that. For like the last year and a half of her life, I think, has been 100% census. And then the pandemic happened. So I think she'd be awesome.
I'm
Um,
totally down with that.
Great.
Um,
Nate,
we have a
Dana.
recommendation for Rosa Brooks.
That would be fun.
That should be easy to do.
Yeah.
Rosa and I are friendly. Um, and Jim Fallows should also be doable. Ooh, I like the idea of doing a U.S. Postal Service subject, though I'm not sure who the right person to do that is, honestly. It's not a subject I know a lot about. Um,
I don't know
but
anyone
I,
either. We could ask people,
but so
put it
if
out to the
people
group.
have, yeah, if people have recommendations for a good uh, for guests on that, that would be helpful. Um, Richard John at Columbia, is he a historian or a?
I don't know who that is.
I don't either. It's
Um,
yeah, is he's a historian of the Postal Service?
yeah, I don't know.
That's if so, I want to say that is an awesome thing to be
Oh,
a
cool.
historian of. Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of
Richard John.
historians, there is a historian I want to have on the show. Um have and having just said this, I am forgetting his name. Um uh but I listened to his um incredible, just incredible uh um set of Yale lectures on the Civil War and Reconstruction. David Bright,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and
He's amazing.
he, it was one of the most incredible series of lectures. It's actually a series of lectures for an undergraduate class on the Civil War and Reconstruction, and it was astonishingly good. And just like I just found it riveting, and I would love to have a conversation with him. So I'm. It seems like a lot of people are enthusiastic about that idea, but I think he's just fascinating. And Kevin Cruz is also a great idea, as is Heather Cox Richardson. Um, um,
I'm writing them all down.
yeah.
I mean, we're over. We there's no way we can get them all this week, and some
No,
of
no,
them
no,
are
no.
like,
We're
but we
just
can like reach out to
brainstorming.
some of them for like for later. Kevin Cruz, got it.
No, we are
Um,
not having Kevin Cruz debate Dinesh D'Souza. There was a time when Dinesh D'Souza was a person who you could have a conversation with, but that time is long since passed,
I
um,
agree with that.
and I'm not really interested in having a conversation with him. Um, ever since he started. Uh, yeah, Michael Fromberger says he has not been a serious person since the 1980s. I actually think his first book, which was published in the 1980s, which was called A Liberal Education, had some pretty interesting stuff in it, and I and he dabbled among the serious people at that time, but he's since become a criminal and a
Wait,
literal
really?
criminal. Yeah, yeah, he was indicted for
I forgot that
campaign
completely.
finance abuses, and then he was pardoned by Donald Trump. Um, he's a crazy conspiracy theorist at this point. Yes, so Joyce Fisher points out that Frank Luntz is an interesting person, and I do think that having it's getting to the time that we should have some serious pollsters on other
We
than
have a
Claudia
long list
Dean.
of pollsters that I already have written down. Rachel, I can't read my own writing.
We have
Uh,
already had Sarah Longwell on the show, and Sarah is a dear friend, and she is welcome back anytime.
yes, she can come
Um,
back whenever. I loved her. Elliot Morris, five. We have Nate Cohen. We have a whole
they,
bunch of people that we have
yeah,
down
so
for for
like I
pollsters.
like we've the only pollster we've had on the show. Sarah's kind of a pollster, but she's a little bit more complicated than that. The only pure pollster we've had on the show is Claudia Dean, who is explicitly not a horse race election type pollster. And I think we're getting close enough to the election now that we should probably think about um, uh, like how we want to handle the run up to the election, and do we want to um, do we want to do do we want to have a kind of regular group of people that we turn to, or but I think one of the ways we should do that is just start inviting people on and see who we have a real rapport with and who's fun to talk to and who the audience really likes.
I think that's really a smart idea to start doing it now. That's a great idea. Because they're going to be super in demand too. Like as soon as this gets it gets to be like October, so I just feel like this is the time to kind of meet them and ply them with drink,
Exactly.
blackmail them on live TV, and then make them come back like in October.
Yeah, I
um,
think 538 has a bunch of really good people, from some of whom are really data driven, um, uh, and some of them like Claire Malone and uh, uh, are more reportorial driven, um, and I think like just kind of figuring out what combination of kind of data people we want versus, you know, people who are a little bit more reportage driven is a really good. I do think the idea that we kicked around the other week about having the creators of the major models on together to talk about their models, right? So Rachel Bitacover, Nate Cohn, um, uh, 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 Nate Silver, or Micah Cohen, that group of people who are all kind of engaged in the same project. They do argue with one another on Twitter a fair bit, but just kind of having a conversation um, about what their how their models differ and to what extent they're complementary or competitive with one another. So somebody just suggested Jordan Ellenberg, who
yeah,
has been on the show.
I was
Jordan
gonna say.
Ellenberg, whom I have literally known since he was born. Um, Jordan and I grew up together, and he and
I
my
loved him.
yeah, he's a wonderful person and a super thoughtful guy, and his parents and my mother were biomedical statisticians together at NIH.
That's cool.
Yep. Um, so I think like we should have some like we should think about like maybe starting this week, like having a string of people um, uh, who have kind of different angles on the election coming up, and maybe just one a week or so. Um, yeah, so Owen Sherry says maybe someone from the Cook Political Report or the UVA Center for Politics. There's a whole lot of people who do this for a living, including some of my colleagues at Brookings, the Bill Galstons and E.J. Dion's, and people who do a lot of electoral politics. And I think this is, we should shift a little bit to focus on Miles Coleman as well. There's just a bunch of really good people who do this, um, and and I think we should like start bringing them on.
Yeah, I love that idea. Um, yeah, and do you think that it's gonna be? Well, we can talk about it later, but well, we're running out of time. Um, yeah, we have a ton of people. Dana Boyd, Alex, Petri. We have
Okay, so let's do it this
Nate
way.
Persily.
Wait. We're gonna do this as a poll. We're
Okay.
gonna see who is the most desired guest on In Lieu of Fun right now. So this is the third question in our poll.
We have
Um,
like 25 names.
so right, we're gonna put as many of them in as the system will let us, and everybody gets to vote on one. Uh, my you okay? Read me
Oh
names.
wow, Regis Philbin died.
Yes, he did.
I did not know
He
that.
was
Sorry.
88.
Wow.
Uh, okay, read me names.
Okay. We have Richard John, who wrote a book about the U.S. Postal Service. Alex Petri. We have Dana Boyd.
Wait. I can't type that fax. Alexandra Petri.
Dana Boyd,
Go.
Census. Dana Boyd, Census.
Yep.
Rosa
Go.
Brooks. Nate
Rose.
Persley. Elections. Jim Fallows.
Wait. Nate Persily. Uh, Jim Fallows. Next.
Um, Heather Cox Richardson.
Oh, we shouldn't list all the Reconstructionist historians.
Okay.
Let's say a Civil War Reconstructionist historian.
Okay. Okay. Randall Kennedy.
Because we listed like 10 of them.
I don't know which ones all of these people are. So I don't know some of them. Frank Luntz.
Okay. Uh, so let's also not list all of the elections people.
Okay,
but
then say pollsters.
lots of pollsters and elections people. All
I
right,
agree with you,
next.
Tony Cava. That was also my impression.
It is
Jordan
really Petri. It is
Ellenberg?
pronounced Petri.
Jordan again.
Jordan Ellenberg. He's not an elections person. He's a mathematician.
Yeah.
So I just typed Jordan elections.
Okay. Andrew Gelman.
Who was Andrew Gelman?
I don't know. That sounds really familiar to me, though. So I wrote it down because it was appearing in the chat. Joanna Freeman. Sean.
Okay, so now my computer is running really slow all of a sudden. I think it's not liking the number of answers to this poll. So let's
just
include
just launch it and see what happens.
All right, I'm going to add Joanna Freeman, uh, and Miles Coleman. Um, it's not letting me add Miles Coleman. Okay, here we go. We're launching this. It's a little bit of an unfair question because all right, it should be all right, it should be out there now.
Okay, it just appeared. I'm gonna vote. Wow, a lot of people on Jim Fallows.
Yeah, a lot of enthusiasm for Jim Fallows.
Thing is like, do we have to tell people how people voted on them? What if they watch the
No.
show and find out?
Like, you got 0 votes, but we want to have you on anyway.
But we liked you anyway. We decided to throw away our commitment to democracy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Reconstruction historian, the generic Reconstruction historian, is doing really well.
Yes.
All right. So the overwhelming vote here is for the Reconstruction historians and elections people and pollsters. And to Alice Watson, who notes that 46 is not a good N for a poll.
Yes, that is.
I just want
that is pretty obvious.
say this is not a sample. This is a actual survey of our viewership.
Yes.
And so I take it as a reflection of the tend to be what they call in the biz repeat players. We take their suggestions very seriously. So we will reach out to Reconstruction and Civil War historians and lots of pollsters and election people. And I will find a mystery guest for tomorrow. And until then, what do we say?
We don't have fun anymore. So.
Or is it my turn to decide what we say?
Oh, yeah, you can do it. I don't mind.
No, I
off.
did it yesterday.
I would love that. It's hard, right?
You bagged on. You said goodbye to the guest and then cut us off.
I know. It was super awkward. That whole conversation was weird because, like, you kept having... Because we're having so many technical difficulties. I did pull an Irish goodbye yesterday. I really didn't mean to. I thought you were saying goodbye in general. I was like, guess we're not doing a sign-off today.
No. I did it yesterday.
That's so funny.
I did it yesterday because you bagged on the show.
Sorry, Ben. Yes, but we don't have fun anymore. So in lieu of fun, we have tiki bars, books, and only one of the two are things we shall burn.
It's okay, but the point is, so until tomorrow, what do we say?
Wait, didn't I just say it?
With any luck, we will not be burning books in November.
I said it before
We will see
you
you
prompted me. Bye bye.
tomorrow.
Bye.
I'm having trouble ending the show, guys. Up there. Come on. Show end.